second. Come here. Come here. Why are you not letting me do that? Okay, start. There we go. And I welcome everybody for joining us today. This is Brittany Dotson, aka Imbria Arts. We are here today to do a live stream. Now, this was a voted on request by DeviantArt fans, so to do a live reading of Konosuba, which I am, of course, a fan. I have the solid copy here from, let's see, which company does these books now? Yen Press. So absolutely support Yen Press with the actual books out here. We're only going to do live readings of this first chapter because I do not want to go through and do more than one chapter since it is copyrighted material. And we are not going through with much permission on this, so it's kind of a choke through thing. But we are doing a live stream of Konosuba today. And if you don't know what Konosuba is, it is probably one of the most odd isekai you can get into with the isekai in anime sense and all that. It is a series that is pure comedy. It sort of takes isekai and throws it on its head. And it's a light novel series, but also, of course, one of the best comedy anime that have come out in the last couple of years, honestly. So, if also check out the anime. I know several companies have it streamed before. Crunchyroll has the license, which I guess now Funimation has the license. I'm not too sure with that whole situation with the trade, since Funimation just changed hands. But we're going to get on with the actual reading of it, too. And I welcome anybody to come in and join and chat as well. I will take breaks throughout the reading, and we'll get on from there. But for right now, Prologue. Cosmos Saito. Welcome to the Great Beyond. Actually, let me do this appropriately. This should be Aqua, to be precise. Cosmos Saito. Welcome to the Great Beyond. I'm sorry to tell you that you've passed on. It was a short life, but it's over now. Those were the first words I heard upon finding myself in the big white room. It was so sudden, I had no idea what was going on. There was a little desk and chair, like you'd find in an office. Sitting in that chair was a person notifying me of the end of my life. If are such things as goddesses, the woman in front of me certainly qualified. She was more than just a cute, like pop stars on TV. No human could match her beauty. She had long hair, translucent blue of the sea, clear on a clear day. It gave her a soft, gentle aura. She looked to be about my age, with her light purple clothes, fit perfectly, not too revealing, but not hiding anything. She was wearing what we'd call for a feather mantle, a divine remnant like the ones of Japanese old stories. This beauty stared at me with eyes the same light blue as her hair, blinking at me, unable to understand what happened. I thought back on the last thing I could remember. Normally, I stay locked in my room. I don't even go to school. But today, for once, I left the house. I wanted to get a limited day one edition of a popular MMO that was coming out today. So, I was up earlier than usual to claim my spot in line. Yeah, I'm what people like to dismiss as a hikikomori. Some people also someone so intensively or introverted that they are withdrawn from society, living a life of isolation and never leaving their room. Others call me an MMO junkie. Whenever I secure my game and was heading home to try and find or try it out and spirits high, then it happened. A girl was walking ahead of me. playing with her phone. Judging by her uniform, she was enrolled in the same school as me. A traffic light turned green. She stepped onto the crosswalk without even glancing left or right. I saw the shadow loom over her. It had to be a truck, bearing down on her at high speed. I shoved her out the way before I could think, and then, with a calm surprise, even me, a calm that surprised even me, I said quietly to the beautiful woman before me, "Can I ask one thing?" She nodded. "Of course." "The girl, the one I pushed out of the way, is she alive?" That was important to me. It was the first and last cool thing I've done in my life. If it turned out I'd been too late, hadn't saved her, that would have been awful. She's got a pretty bad broken leg, though. Thank goodness. That meant my death wasn't in vain. I was able to do something worthwhile with my life, even if it was only at the very end. The beautiful girl cocked her head and questioningly looked at my look of relief. Although, if you hadn't pushed her, she wouldn't have been hurt at all. Huh? What? Did she say? The tractor would have stopped before hitting her. Obviously, it's a tractor. It doesn't go fast. Your dumb heroics were totally uncalled for. She sure knew how to make a good first impression. Not. I guess it would be rude to smack her, but I really want to. Never mind that. There was something more important to ask. What did you say? A tractor? Not a truck? Yes, that's right, a tractor. You think the girl wouldn't have noticed if some huge truck was coming right at her? She would have gotten out of the way, huh? Wait, so I died getting run over by a tractor? No, you died of shock. You were convenienced by convinced a truck hit you, and your body failed. I've been doing this a long time, but you're the first person I've ever met who died in such a weird way. I was at a loss for words. Incidentally, you soiled yourself when you thought you were getting hit by the tractor. They took you to the nearest hospital, and all the doctors and nurses were like, "What? What a loser! Lol." And you died of a heart attack without even waking up. I threw my hands over my ears. Sorry, something fell. Let's see. I threw my hands over my ears. Stop it. Please, no. I don't want to hear it. I don't need to hear how pathetic it was. She drew close to me with a smirk and whispered in my ear, "Your family got to the hospital just this minute, and before they could even grieve, they heard the cause of the death and burst out laughing. Stop! You're making it up. Right? No one could ever die in such a pathetic way." She stood up above me and giggled as I knelt on the ground, my head in my hands. "All right. I've left off enough steam for today. Nice to meet you, Cosmo Saito. My name is Aqua. I am a goddess who gives guidance to those in Japan who die young. Now, regardless of how amusing the circumstances of your demise may be, you have two choices. This damn woman. All right, forget it. I had to let it go, or we would never get anywhere. Option 1, you will be reborn as a human, starting in a completely new life. And option 2, you live like an older geezer in a heavenly place. Talk about a lose-lose. Hang on. What do you mean? Heavenly place. And what is live like an old geezer anyway? Honestly, heaven isn't a great place. As you humans imagine. The dead don't need to eat. Nothing ever produced in their afterlife, so even if you wanted to cook something, there's no ingredients. Sorry to disappoint you, but heaven actually is really a drag. No TV, no manga, no video games, just a bunch of dead people. And since you're dead, you can't even hook up with anyone. I mean, you don't really have a body, right? It's just a bunch of spirits sitting around, sunning yourselves, and making small talk for eternity. What? No paradise? No video games? That's not heaven. That's hell. I could start over as a baby. Hang on. Are those seriously my only choices? I was clearly dejected by the goddess but the goddess gave me a huge smile. You're right. Who wants a boring place like heaven? And being reborn isn't hot either. You lose all your memories, and it's that basically the same saying as you, Kazuma Saito, would come to cease to exist. Well, I've got an offer for you. I smell something fishy. She saw I was wary, but Aqua only grinned even wider. You like video games, right? And then she proudly laid out the great proposal, or whatever the long and short of it was this. There's another world, different from our own, that is home to someone called the Demon King. The Demon King invades the armies, threatens the world, and it's a place of magic and monsters. In other words, a fantasy setting pretty much like those found popular games like Dragon Hunter or Monster Quest. So, people who die in that world, well, see, the majority of them were killed by the Demon King, right? And they don't want to go through it again. So, most of them refuse to be reborn. That means fewer and fewer babies are getting born there. Eventually, the whole world will be ruined. So we thought, why not send someone who died in some other world off to this threatened one? I can't imagine the headaches around the immigration policy. And we figured as long as we're sending someone, it might as well be someone who died young, a blank slate. We'd send them with their body and memory intact. What's more, since it would be silly to send someone over there just to die again, we decided to allow them to bring along anything that they want. Powerful special ability, incredible talent. Some people choose a legendary weapon. So how about it? You get another shot at life in a new world, and they get someone battle ready to come to their aid. What do you think? Not bad, right? I really wasn't bad. Or it wasn't bad. I could feel the excitement ramping up through. I liked games, sure, but never thought I'd have a chance to live in a world like that one. But before that, first things first. Just asking, but what about the language in this new world? Can I speak it? No worries there. Though, through the kind of support of us deities, we have language. The language will be loaded into your brain when you go over there, allowing you to learn it instantaneously. You'll be able to read it too. Of course, there's a slim chance that it would result in an overload that makes you go poof if you're not lucky. So all that's left is to pick you an awesome ability or gear. Wait. Did you say I might go poof? No. No, I didn't. Yeah, you did. Enough. She was a goddess. I found myself speak bluntly without any anxiety I felt until a few minutes ago. I had to admit, it was an attractive proposition. True, I was worried I might go poof, but not to brag, my luck had always been my only strong point, so I figured would be fine. Aqua thrust something like a catalog in front of my face. Take your pick. Any one thing. I'll give you the power second to none. Look, this one's an amazing special ability. Here's a legendary sword. Come on, anything at all. Just say the word and you can bring it with you to your new home. I looked through the catalog. From her and thumbed through the pages. It was listed everything by name. Superior strength, profound magic, the sacred sword, Aeronolite, Masamune, the demon blade, or Muramasa, the demon blade, excuse me. Muramasa, the demon blade. I got it. They wanted me to pick up some power item from the catalog. Oh man, how could I ever choose? Maybe it's my gamer's intuition speaking, but everything seemed totally broken. What to pick? What to pick? Well, if there's going to be magic there, then of course I would have to try it. So maybe some power that would involve the use of magic? Come on, hurry up, will you? Doesn't matter what you pick. Anyway, no one's expecting anything from some hikikomori video game otaku. So just grab something and get out of here. Come on, we haven't got all eternity. Not even an otaku. And I died outdoors. So I'm not a hikikomori either. My reply was quiet, and my voice trembled. Aqua, toying with her hair, answered with complete disinterest. Look, I don't care. You think you're the only dead guy I gotta ferry to the afterlife today? Pick up the pace. Aqua leaned back in her chair, not even looking at me as she spoke. She was shoving some snack in her mouth. This girl. She meets someone for the first time, and what does she do? Make fun of them and how they died. Thinks she can do whatever she wants just because she's some kind of cute. Naturally, her attitude made me pretty ticked off. So, she wanted me to hurry up and decide. Fine, I'll decide. Any one thing I wanted to take with me, right? You then. I point to Aqua. Aqua looked at me blankly and put another snack in her mouth. Okay. Inside the magic circle. Suddenly she caught herself. Wait, what did you say? At the moment, your wish received. At that moment, your wish is received. Then Lady Aqua and I tremble. Lady Aqua, your wish received. Then, Lady Aqua, I shall tend to your duties henceforth. A winged woman appeared out of nowhere, a bright flash of light. She looked somewhat like an angel. What? Aqua said stupidly, the blue magic circle appearing at her feet and at mine. Ooh, cool effects. We really are headed to another world. Wait, what? You've got to be kidding me. The wish doesn't count, right? No way it counts. Wait. She flailed ineffectively, tears flying from her eyes. Safe travels, my lady, the angel said to her. Leave things to me. Whensoever you do defeat the Demon King, I shall send someone to retrieve you. Until then, allow me to attend to your duties. Wait, seriously, I'm a goddess. I can heal people, but I don't know how to fight. How am I supposed to defeat the Demon King? The angel only glanced at the sobbing, prostrate Aqua, and then gave me a gentle smile. Mr. Cosmos Saito, I will now send you to a new world as one of the candidates for the hero that will defeat the Demon King. Whensoever you should do so, you will receive a gift from the gods. A gift, I asked. Yes, one to consummate with the worth of the world you saved. The gods will grant you any one thing you should ask. Cool. If I ended up getting sick of this new place, I could ask to go back to Japan, for example. If I ended up getting sick of this new place, I could go back to Japan, be filthy rich and surrounded by beautiful women, spend the rest of my life playing video games. Just how decadent could a wish get? Hey, wait, that's a great line, and it's supposed to be mine. It was Aqua again, bewailing the sudden loss of her job to this angel who come out of nowhere. Finally, I was rather pleased to see her like that. I pointed at Aqua. How does it feel to be dragged off to another world by the guy you were just making fun of? You're the one thing I'm bringing along, so you better be of use. That goddess power of yours to make my life cushy as I want. No, please, I don't want to go to the new world with a man like this. Hero, I pray you for your success as one candidate of many who will bring low the demon lord. Now, hie hint you hence. The angel's solemn invocation was undisturbed only by Aqua's cry. No, that's my line too! And then sudden, the still weeping Aqua and I enveloped in bright light. So ended chapter 0. So we actually had to go through chapter 0 to get to chapter 1. Ah. Chapter 1, aka May I Go to the New World with this self-proclaimed goddess. Horse-drawn carriages rattled along the stove-paved streets of town. It's a parallel universe. Look around. We're in an actual other world. Am I really here? Am I going to learn magic and go adventuring? I took in the scene before me, quivering with excitement. Brick buildings stood eave to eave, like the scene straight from Middle-Age Europe. There was no cars, no motorcycles, no utility poles, no cell phone towers. Man, oh man! Oh man, oh man! My eyes darted everywhere, watching the people pass by. He's got animal ears. Real ones. There's an elf. A real elf. She's gotta be an elf. She's so beautiful. Goodbye, modern day hermit life. Hello, fantasy world. Now, this is the place I could actually get. I could see actually going outside, getting a job, and stop being a NEET. I looked at Aqua, who was on her knees beside me, head in her hands. Hey, keep it down. What'll happen if everyone thinks I'm a fetish or friends with a crazy lady? Anyways, don't you have something you'd give me right about now? I mean, look how I'm dressed. I'm wearing a tracksuit. In a fantasy world, if this was a game, I'd at least get some basic starting equipment. The goddess grabbed her hold of me and cries, Whoa, what are you doing? Stop it. I get it. I'll handle the starter gear myself. I mean, I'm sorry. If you hate it that much here, then fine, go home. I'll manage somehow. My hands brushed Aqua's as I tried to free my neck from her grip. To my surprise, her hands were shaking. What are you talking about? She wept, holding her head and dancing back and forth. I can't go home. That's the problem. What am I going to do? Oh, come on. What am I supposed to do now? She shook her waist-length hair, and I realized she would be the real beauty if she had just shut up. But as it was, she came across as a diva. Frankly, I could barely bring myself to look at her. Hey, goddess, calm down. At times like this, you have to find the tavern, start there, gather information. That's how role-playing games work. Well, I thought you were supposed to be some kind of shut-in video game at Toku. When did you get so reliable? By the way, Kazuma, my name's Aqua. It's sweet of you to call me goddess, but you should probably call me by my name. While we're here, if people knew who I really am, we might attract a crowd, and then how would we get to the Demon King? This may be a different world, but I'm actually worshipped here. With that, Aqua padded along beside me. I, for my part, feeling quite comfortable. Now there had to be some adventurers resisting the Demon King, or an adventurers guild that handled fighting monsters or something. Actually, come to think of it, Aqua's a goddess. Why not ask her? Aqua, how about an adventurers guild? Do you know where it is? I said, but she just kept staring at me blankly. Sorry. I'm sure I don't know. I know only that the most basic things about this world, not every little detail of its towns. Think about it. This is just one world amongst millions. And this town is only one insignificant settlement out of all the towns in this world. Why should I have know anything about it? The girl is totally useless. The conversation wasn't getting us anywhere, so I stopped at a middle-aged woman on the street. It was better than asking the guy who might have turned out to be trouble, or asking a young girl. My anxiety would have driven the difficulty of that quest through the roof. Excuse me, ma'am. May I ask you for something? Is there anything like an adventurers guild around? A guild? You mean you don't know? You must be new here. I relaxed at her words, knowing that there had to be a guild here somewhere. Yes, ma'am. We've come from quite a ways off. We just arrived a little while ago. Oh my. If you've come to this town, you must be looking to become adventurers. Welcome to Axel, the town of novice adventurers. If you follow that street right and turn right, you'll see the sign. Straight up there. Straight, then, and right. Thank you, ma'am. Okay, we're off. A town of novice adventurers, huh? A starter town. An ideal starting point for new, freshly deaded arrivals from some other world. After thanking the woman and heading down the road, she pointed out, I could feel Aqua looking at me with new respect as she darted along beside me. Hey, she said with a hint of astonishment. How'd you come up with the story on the spot? You actually seem quite capable. So then, why are you a hermit of an otaku who's never had a girlfriend and really any friends at all? Why spend your days as a hickey-neat? Not having friends or a girlfriend isn't necessarily a bad thing. You can't judge a person's worth by how many friends they have or if they're in a relationship. And don't call me a hickey. You dumb bimbo. Don't assume hikikomori are neats. I was just 16. That's too young for society to assume that I'll be a member of the workforce. Ah, there it is. Aqua made to strangle me at the words dumb bimbo, but I ignored her and went on to the Adventurers Guild. Adventurers Guild. You'll find an Adventurers Guild in every video game. It's an organization that helps adventurers find work, or otherwise supports them. It's basically a fantasy world version of Hello Work that the government employment service. The guild was housed in a fairly large building, and the smell of food drifted from within. There was a rough lot inside, no doubt. People who might not think twice about jumping at some newcomers. I steeled myself for the conflict as I entered, and was greeted by the waitress with a short red hair, who said sweetly, "Oh, welcome. If you're looking for work, go to the counter inside. If you're here for a meal, please take any open seat." The dim interior looked to be home to a tavern. People in armor wandered here and there, but no one seemed to especially out to cause trouble. All right, so no one seemed to be out of trouble to cause trouble. We did seem to be getting a lot of attention, though. At first, I thought maybe they didn't get any newcomers here. Then it was dawned on me. Hey, I don't like the way they're looking at me, Aqua said. I know it's the goddess aura I exude. They figured out who I am. Everyone was checking out the goddess who stood beside me, spewing inanities. It made sense. She would attract attention. After all, she would be really beautiful if she could keep her mouth shut. I decided to ignore the stares and pursue my original objective. Listen, Aqua. Once we register, the guild will give us tutorials teaching us how to survive as adventurers. They should lend us enough money to go on an adventure and get work. That'll keep food on the table, and then even though we're just starting out, maybe they'll let us know where the best inns are. Most games start this way. Normally, I'd say it was your job to make sure that we had the basic necessities and for life in this world, but never mind. Today, let's just get registered and make sure that we've got enough money to for starter equipment and find somewhere to sleep. I don't know what you're talking about. My job is to send dead people to this world. But fine, I don't know anything about video games. But I take it this is how you get started in this kind of world. I just have to register as an adventurer, right? That's right. Let's go. I pulled Aqua along towards the counter. There were 4 receptionists. 2 were women. I went to the prettier of the 2. Hey, we could have gone to any other of the 3 and not wait in line, had to wait in line. Aqua said before me. Why'd you pick this one? Wait, I get it. It's because she's the prettiest, isn't she? Sheesh. Just when I think maybe I can count on you for something. She doesn't know anything. I turned to her and said in a whisper, Lesson 1, be on good terms with the girl at the guild. Lesson 2, the pretty ones always have a backstory. There's gotta be an event flag waiting. Someday we'll find out that this girl used to be a renowned hunter or something. Come to think of it, I've always seen that sort of thing in comic books too. Sorry, I'll just stand in line here. The receptionist at the open windows all glared at us for deliberately lining up at this one, but I ignored them. Finally, it was our turn. Hello, how can I help you today? The receptionist seemed very gentle, certainly very beautiful. Her wavy hair and generous bosom gave her a mature look. We'd like to become adventurers, but we just got here from the countryside and don't have any idea what to do. If I dropped in a bit about being the sticks from some other land, the reception probably would take the initiative and tell us that we needed to know what we needed to know. I see. Well, registration fee is required. Will that be all right? There you go. A tutorial, just like now that we had to do what she told us and registration fee. Hey, Aqua, you got any cash on you? What do you mean? As if I had time to grab my wallet when you dragged me off here. What were we going to do? Maybe we could get a loan from starters or postpone the fee. Aqua and I stepped away from the window and planned strategy. What are we going to do now? We've been at this for 5 minutes and we've already hit a roadblock in the game. Usually you just start with some basic equipment, or at least a little money. Gosh, what happened that manly confidence you had a few moments ago? Oh well, I guess it can't be helped. You are a hikikomori. Fine, my turn. You just watch. I'll show you what it means to be a god. Or no, sorry. Fine, my turn. You just watch, and I'll show you what it means to be a goddess. A man was sitting nearby. It seemed to be a priest's vestments, ratty, worn through. Though they were. Okay. Aqua boldly stood up and to him, You, priest. State your denomination. I'm Aqua. Yes, Aqua. She who vented venerated by the Church of Axis. If you are among my followers, it would be really help if you could lend me some money. I couldn't tell if she was commandeering or commanding or begging. I'm afraid I'm of the Eris sect. Oh, is that so? Sorry to bother you then. Guess he wasn't one of her followers. Aqua turned dejectedly and made to leave, but the priest called out to her, "Oh, miss, you're a follower of the Axis sect. In the old stories, the goddess Aqua and Eris were to be senior and junior to each other. It must be fate that brought you to me. I saw you didn't have enough money to pay for the registration fee. Here, let me give you enough for that. Call it Eris's blessing, but miss, however devoted a follower you may be, you shouldn't go around calling yourself a goddess." Oh, right. Sorry. Thank you very much. Aqua took the money and came back, wearing a look that reminded me of a dead fish. He didn't even believe I was a goddess. You know, Eris is my junior. I got money because of a follower of my under-goddess of mine took pity on me. Well, hey, all's well that ends well, right? It would have been a problem if he hadn't believed you, wouldn't it? Aqua looked like she lost something important, and I wanted to say something encouraging. Ma'am, we've got the registration fee. Huh? That'll be 1,000-piece Eris, please. The priest had given Aqua 3,000 Eris. According to Aqua, 1 Eris was roughly equal to 1 yen. So basically, given her 3,000 yen. The girl at the window hadn't said anything about the little display with the priest. In fact, she seemed to hardly want to look at us. Hardly look at one. So much for less of one. Now, you said you wanted to become adventurers, so I assume you have some idea of what's involved? But just in case, please allow me to explain. First of all, adventurers are those who fight monsters. That is, creatures who do not harm or do harm to people outside of town. However, there are also jack of all trades. Adventurer is simply a generic term for those who are accepted in life as their vocation. Each one has an occupation. There it was, finally. This is what defined an adventurer. Call it an occupation, a job, a class. This is where we got to choose their fighting style. Forget being some run-of-the-mill warrior. A good flashy spellcaster class was in my future. Receptionist set a card in front of me, and another in front of Aqua. It was about the size of a driver's license, presumably some kind of identification. You see the line marked level? As you know, every creature in this world has a soul with it. Whenever you eat or kill, otherwise end the life of another living things, we absorb some portion of its memories. The memories we absorb, widely known as expiration points. Typically, you can't see them. However, she pointed up another part of the card. This section will show you an adventurer how many experience points he or she is granted. The corresponding level will be shown too. So the card's a guidepost to an adventurer's strength. And also indicates how many monsters he or she has defeated. Any living thing, once gains enough experience, will suddenly dramatically grow in its abilities. People often describe this as reaching a new plateau, or in a word, leveling up. At any rate, when your level goes up, you gain points, which you can spend on new skills, as well as a variety of other benefits. So make sure to work hard and raise your level. That reminded me of what Aqua had said. You like video games, right? Now it made sense. Everything this girl just explained was straight out of an RPG. I'd like both of you to fill out this form. Please give your height, weight, age, and distinctive physical features. I began to write on the form she handed me. Height, 5'4", weight, 120 pounds, 16 years old, brown hair, brown eyes. All right, thank you. Now each of you, please touch these cards. They will show you your stats, and you pick a class that matches your abilities. Based on the class, you may be able to learn special skills at higher levels, so consider that when deciding your occupation. Ooh, that was quick. This is where my incredible latent abilities would become evident. No doubt an entire guild hall would be in uproar. I touched the card in a mixture of trepidation and excitement. All right. Thank you, Mr. Kazuma Saito. And is that right? Let's see. Strength, vitality, magic, agility, all average. Your intelligence is on the high side. Your luck is extremely high. Though luck isn't very useful stat for adventurers, I'm afraid. What should we do? With these stats, you can't actually specialize. You have to choose a basic adventure class. With your luck, I might even recommend giving up adventuring and becoming a merchant instead. Would you like to do that? Wait, did I just get rejected as an adventurer? What's going on? It was all I could do to not smack the snickering gods beside me. If I was weak, it would be as much a problem for her as for me. Fine, just an adventurer then, please. Well, the girl said, with a worried look. As your level goes up, your stats will improve, and you can eventually change jobs. And notice how adventure class shares its name with the word that refers everyone to goes to on adventures. Sort of a general occupation. Just because it's a starter class doesn't mean it's bad. People with the adventurer job can learn and use skills from any class. Okay, back to the story. The trade-off is the skills take tons of points to learn, and you can't expect them to be anywhere near as effective as when someone who is a proper class uses them. Jack of all trades, master of none. Leave it to Aqua to rain on my parade. I wondered if I could just lose her somewhere. Anyways, starter class or general occupation, it looked like I was stuck as an adventurer, the weakest class of all. But it didn't matter. The weakest adventurer would still be an adventurer. And I was just as poised to take out on the world out of my video games. It was with a small stirring in my heart that I took the card with my name and the word adventurer. What? Where did these numbers come from? Besides your below average intelligence and abysmal luck, all your stats are vastly above average. Your magic is most amazing of all. Who or what are you, ma'am? The receptionist could barely contain herself as she looked at Aqua's card. The building filled with excitement and murmurs. Wait, wasn't that supposed to happen to me? Really? So I'm amazing or something? Well, I guess it is me after all. She might be obnoxious, but she's still a goddess. Even so, it was hard not to hate her as she grew more and more pleased with her stats. Amazing doesn't even begin to cover it. You can't pick the wizard class. You require high intelligence, but you can be anything else at all. You could be a crusader, a knight, famed of impenetrable defense, or you'd be a swordsmaster, with an unparalleled attack power. You could be an archpriest, the most advanced priest class. You can start in some sort of advanced occupations available. Aqua seemed to mull it over. I see. It's just a shame Goddess isn't a class. Well, maybe Archpriest would be right for me then. Archpriest it is. A very versatile class, with all types of healing and support spells, but also strong enough to stand fearlessly in front of the line. Let's see, Archpriest, there. Welcome to the Adventurers Guild, Honored Aqua. And I and the entire staff look forward to your future exploits. The girl at the desk had a huge smile on her face. What's going on here? Seriously, I'm the main character. Or not. Well, never mind. And this was how my life as adventure in this new world began. All right, good work, everyone. That's it for today. Here, come and get your pay. Thank you, sir. Another day of work, sir. For woohoo, work. And a foreman announces at the end of the day. Aqua and I each offer a word of thanks and bow our head. Everyone, I said, I see you tomorrow. Woohoo, Aqua echoed as I said goodbye to the other workers. Right, good work. And tomorrow's another day. With the other voices still in our ears, Aqua and I walked off the site. Phew. Another day's work, finally. Even I could barely believe I was once a hikikomori, and Aqua and I headed to the town's largest public bath, clutching our day's wages. The baths were more or less the same as the ones in Japan. The entry fee was maybe a bit higher in comparison to the average wage, but a hot bath after a long day of work was something I couldn't let fall by the wayside, even if it was a little expensive. Oh, yeah, that's the stuff. I sink into the steaming bath with my shoulders, letting the water wash away the day's fatigue. This world looked a bit like the Middle Ages, and I'd always assumed the baths would be a luxury in a fantasy world, but apparently I've been wrong. And thank goodness, Aqua left the bath and waited for me at the entrance. I guess it's not very chivalrous to make a woman wait while you finish soaking, but then, again, maybe it's just a bath-loving Japanese person for you. What do you want to eat today? I want smoked lizard burger and a nice crimson neroid. Yeah, I like some meat too. Well, how about we get that guy at the inn to whip us up a couple of the smoked lizard hamburger combo meals? No objections. Aqua and I wolfed down our meals, and then nothing special to do. We went back to the stable where we were staying at night. I picked up the hay that smelled the least like horse poop to make my bed and lay down. Aqua was curled up nearby as though we were almost the natural thing in the world. Okay, night. Night. Man, we really did some work today. And so I began to drift off into a deep, satisfying sleep. Wait a minute, hold on a minute. I bolted upwards. What's wrong? Did you forget to use the toilet before bed? It's dark outside. Want me to go with you? No, that's not it. Why are we doing manual labor every day? Yes? Aqua and I spent every day for the last 2 weeks working on the expansion of the town wall, i.e. doing construction work. This was a far cry from adventuring I had expected when I came here. Come to think of it, how Aqua had adapted so uncomplainingly to this life. She is a goddess, isn't she? Well, it's 'cause if you want to eat, you have to work. Don't you like the construction? Sheesh, this is why you're a hickany. You could hawk goods in the shopping district if you'd rather. That's not the point. I came here for heart-pounding and battles with monsters, okay? I thought the Demon King invasion was a threatening this place. But you couldn't find a more peaceful world. There's no demons. There's hardly any kings. What did we come here for? Our voices got louder as our tempers flared until we heard shouts from nearby. Hey, shut up! People are trying to sleep. Oh, sorry. Novice venturers are poor, okay? They don't have money for a room at the inn every night. Usually they pool their resources with other adventurers to sleep in one big dormitory style room. Right now, all we could afford is rent a haystack in the stables. Yeah, definitely not living up to how I envisioned the adventuring life in a fantasy world. Staying at the inn was sort of like if you slept in a hotel every night back in Japan, but not a life for those whose steady income like us, for example, or those without a steady income like us, for example. Video games normally feature one simple starter quest like harvesting herbs or hunting for some monsters near town. No such thing here. Plus, monsters didn't just spew money when you defeated them either. The monsters that lived in the forest near town had been wiped out long ago. And who'd pay money for someone who'd gather herbs in a perfectly peaceful forest? No one, obviously. Even children left the town's walls with impunity. There was a guard at the gate, I'm sure, but not the kind who locks everything down so tight that an ant couldn't get in. The forest wasn't big enough to be worrisome. If anything dangerous showed up, people just went out and got rid of it. I guess it made sense when you thought about it, but it was all a bit too real-worldy for my liking. In a game of fresh-faced adventurer could go out in the woods and spend half a day picking easily distinguishable plants and herbs and make enough money to pay for 3 square meals, a soft bed, too. But when in real life, there had even been such easy money. Think about it. Even in a rich country like Japan, have you ever met a laborer who spends every day of his life in a decent hotel? Minimum wage, labor laws. What are those? Are they tasty? Welcome to an RPG fantasy. I know, all that. This is furthest from the Demon King's castle. This town's furthest from the Demon King's castle. He's never bothered attacking it all the way out here, especially a town with nothing but greenhorns. So, Kazuma, you're telling me that you want to go on a real adventure before you're even gotten into any gear together. In fact, Aqua's blunt analysis, there was nothing I could say. It was true. Aqua and I lacked even the most basic of provisions for adventuring. We'd taken our nice, safe construction jobs in hopes of saving up enough money to buy some equipment. I'm getting pretty tired of construction. I didn't come all this way to a land of swords and sorceries just to work my hands. I came here to adventure. No computers, no gaming consoles needed. I just was sent here to drive out a Demon King, wasn't I? For a moment, Aqua looked at me, although she couldn't understand. What was I talking about? She exclaimed. Oh, that's right. We did mean to do something like that, didn't we? I got so caught up in the joy of work, I completely forgot. But if you don't take out the Demon King, I can't go home, can I? I was a bit taken back by her words until I recalled the receptionist's remark that Aqua's intelligence stat was below average. Fine. Let's go take him out. You've got me with you, and we'll be fine. You can count on me. Got a bad feeling about this, but I guess you are a goddess. All right. It's up to you. Tomorrow we'll get the cheapest equipment we can find and start adventuring on our levels. Just leave it to me. I thought I told you to shut up. Don't make me come over there. Sorry, pardon us. Even as we apologize, the adventurer the other adventure. My heart was dancing in my chest. Soon I was asleep. Ugh. Take a brief moment here. We're only on part 3 of chapter 1 right now. So this is part 3. There wasn't a cloud in the bright blue sky. Ah, help me! Aqua, help me! This is the great Cosma. Your face is so red. Tears of desperation. I love it. Right, I bury her in the ground on my way home. Even if I plotted to leave Aqua in the dirt, I ran around screaming for her help as the giant toad, a massive frog-like monster, chased me. We were in a vast field surrounding the town. This was where grabbing a quest at the guild had gotten us. I had a short sword, the most minimal of weaponry. Aqua, for her part, had said some dumb thing about how goddesses waving a sword just wouldn't look right. So she was carrying around was currently without a weapon at all. Instead, she gaily watched as the toad chased me around. I guess you can't underestimate your enemy, even when he's a frog. These toads, were bigger than cows. During mating season, they needed strength to lay their eggs, so they would migrate to human towns where they would eat plenty of food, as in local farmers' goats, which toads would swallow whole. Since Aqua and I hardly weighed more than a couple of goats ourselves, we were both pretty concerned by this revelation. As a matter of fact, it turned out that every year around giant toad mating season, a number of farmers and even children would go missing from the town. On the outside, these monsters looked like they were huge frogs, but they were far more dangerous than the weaklings that had been cleared out of the area for so long. Incidentally, their meat, while a little tough, was light and mild tasting and considered a delicacy. We heard that their thick layer of fat protecting them from physical attacks. Then again, we also heard that was because the giant toads hate metal. If you wore even just a tiny bit of armor, you could avoid being eaten. So they weren't so hard to deal with after all, that's why experienced adventurers enjoyed hunting them. We, however, Aqua, don't stand there. Laughing, help me. Maybe you should start by showing me a little more respect. Lady Aqua. I'd get her later. Bury her up to the neck. Leave her there so she knew how scary it would be to be a mercy of the toad. Nearly in tears, I glanced back at the creature pursuing me. But it had turned away from me. It was looking at, well, all right, I guess I have to help you out. Then he can eat. In return, I expect you to worship me starting tomorrow. When we get back to town, you have to join the Axis Church and pray to me 3 times a day. At meals, if I ask of something on your plate, you have to give it to me without complaint. And Aqua and all her self-aggrandizing suddenly vanished. The giant toad that had been chasing me had stopped moving. From one corner of its mouth, something blue was sprouting. It was, Aqua, hey, don't you dare get eaten. Aqua's legs hung out from the side of the frog's mouth. Shaking, I drew my short sword and leapt at the giant toad. Aqua squatted on the ground in front of me. Hugging her knees, she was dripping with slime. Next to her lay the giant toad. Its head split open. Thank you, Konosuba. Thank you. She hadn't stopped crying since. I pulled her from the toad's mouth. I guess even a goddess didn't want to be eaten. It's all right, Aqua. Take it easy. Hey, let's go home for today. The quest was to kill 5 toads in 3 days, but we're obviously in over our heads. We'll get some gear first, maybe. I got a short sword and a tracksuit. I'd like to at least look at like an adventurer. Hey, I've been able to kill the toad that swallowed Aqua, mainly because giant toads stop moving when they swallow their prey. I never would have had the guts to go up against the toad with that was happily hopping towards me to attack, but Aqua, her whole body covered in gleaming toad mucus, rose to her feet. How can a goddess just allow herself to be brought down to this level by some frog? I've been defiled. If one of my followers saw me now, they'd lose faith in me. If it gotten out that I'd been laid low by a frog, the reputation of the beautiful, awesome goddess Aqua would have been for naught. She sweat every day, and she lugged around construction loads, thrilled to be able to carry more than a bunch of middle-aged men. She looked forward to nothing more than the dinner after a good bath. Every night she slept next to me in a bale of hay, drooling and dribbling on her chin, covered in some frog slime, and now she's worried about her appearances. Before I could stop her, Aqua dashed off toward another giant toad in the distance. Whoa, hey Aqua! She ignored me, closing the gap between her and the monster. With all the energy that propelled her, she first began to emit white light and slammed into the toad's belly. Know the power of the gods! You shouldn't have stood against me, and bear the fangs against us, but you will have time to regret that in hell! God's blow! I recalled hearing from the guild employee that the physical attacks weren't that effective against giant toads. Aqua's first fist sank into the monster's stuffed stomach with a gulp, and the toad casually looked at her. Aqua met her eyes. You know, now that I see you up close, I realize how cute giant toads really are. For the second time that day, I set upon a monster, immobilized while eating its meal. For the second time, I was rescuing a sobbing, slime-covered goddess. We decided to call it a day. Part 4 coming up here. We're about halfway through this chapter. The problem is the two of us alone are truly totally outmatched. We need some allies. When we got back to town, we'd gone directly to the bathhouse, and then we headed to the Adventurers Guild, where we were eating fried frog legs and holding a war council. The guild hall functioned as both an adventurers' meeting place and a recreation facility. You could buy and sell monster parts, and a large tavern served up monster-based dishes. We got 2 frogs worth of meat today, which we sold to the guild for some pocket change. We could hardly carry back those carcasses ourselves, but the guild offered transportation service for a price. Minus the transportation fee, we earned 5,000 eris for each frog. All told, it was barely more than we've been making in construction. Then again, fried frog, while a little tough, was way better than I expected. When I first got to this world, I'd been loath to eat things like lizards or frogs, but it turned out they were pretty good in a combo meal. The goddess sitting across from me, though, didn't need any encouragement to eat anything that was put in front of her. Sure, but we're brand new adventurers. We don't even have any decent gear. What kind of allies would join our party? Aqua waved a fork back and forth, her mouth full of frog leg. No, we're about after. I'm one for recruiting. Swallow first, then talk. She gulped. I'm here. When word gets out, we want a party of members. then they'll come. I'm an archpriest, you know, an advanced class. I can use all kinds of healing magic. I can cure paralysis, poisoning, even revive the dead. What the party wasn't, what party wouldn't want me? I might not have anything near my full power, thanks to you dragging me down in the mortal realm, but I am the great Aqua, aren't I? Pretty soon they'll be knocking out the door. Please let me join you. They'll say, get it? Now, pass me another fried frog leg. With that, she grabbed the frog leg off the plate and looked at the self-proclaimed goddess with a sinking feeling. Ugh. Sorry, I'm kind of having eyes here. All right. Part 5. At the Adventurers Guild the next day. Where are they? Aqua groaned. We posted a notice that we were seeking party adventurers, or party members, and then set up shop at the table in the far corner of the guild hall. But so far, we've been sitting here for more than half a day, and not one candidate for future hero had shown up. Maybe no one had seen our posting. There were lots of other adventurers looking for party members, but they seemed to have one interview after another. And then, after a friendly chat, would go off somewhere with their new ally. I knew why no one was coming to our table. Maybe we needed to lower our standards a little. I get we're trying to defeat the Demon King here, but the part that says only those advanced classes need to apply is probably putting people off. But the class system in this fantasy world included what were called advanced classes. Aqua's class, Archpriest, was an example. It was a stage normal people would never reach. Heroes of legend, if you will, and obviously most everyone with that kind of talent had already found parties. Aqua's probably looking to get the most powerful people we could to help us take on the Demon King, but at this rate, no one's going to show up. Anyway, you might be an advanced class, but I can have the lowest job there is. I have the lowest job there is. How can I hold my head up in an entire party if my entire party is full of elite characters? Let's cast a wider net, please. As I spoke, I made to stand up, but then I saw your notice. Seeking adventurers of adventure class? Is this the right place? I met a red eye that looked oddly languid, almost sleepy, full black hair that barely reached the shoulders. The girl who'd spoken to us is very image of a spellcaster. Black mantle and black robes, black boots, a staff, even a pointy hat. She had a doll-like features, one of those Lolita types. I knew it wasn't unusual in this world for children to have to work, but this girl couldn't have been more than 12 or 13. She was short, wore a patch on one eye, and suddenly threw back her mantle and declared, I am Megaman. I am the occupation Archwizard, one who wields the most powerful of all offensive magics, Explosion. Are you messing with us? I am not. She didn't seem to expect me to dismiss her introduction. And what was that name anyways? That red eye. Are you one of the Crimson Mage clan? The girl nodded at Aqua's question and passed her adventurer's card to Aqua. I am indeed. I am Megaman, first among the spellcasters of the Crimson Mage clan. An ultimate magic can level mountains and shatter stone. You don't happen to need an exceptional magic user, do you? And if you would pardon my asking, could you give me something to eat before we start the interview? I haven't had a bite to eat in 3 days. She looked at us pleadingly. At the same moment, her stomach gave a large gurgle. I don't mind treating you, I said. But what's with the eye patch? If you're injured, Aqua can heal you up. This is a magic item that restrains my incredible power. If I remove it, why then great calamity in the world would come upon this world. Wow. So it's really like some kind of seal? Oh no, I made that up just now. I just think it looks cool. Aw, but ow. I'm sorry. Please stop. Don't pull on it. Alright. Let me fill in, Kazuma, Aqua said as I tugged at Megumin's eye patch. These kids, the Crimson Mage clan, are born with exceptionally high intelligence in magic, making it easy for them to become expert spellcasters. They're distinguished by their red eyes, which give them their name, and are, well, they're weird personalities. Huh? I thought she was just teasing me about the eye patch and her name. And the name. I let the patch go. Megumin collected herself. Weird names indeed. From my perspective, everyone else in the town has a weird name. Out of curiosity, what were your parents' names? My mother was Yuyui. My father was Hayazunobaro. Aqua and I looked at her in silence. Well, anyway, you said this kid's people turned out to be a lot of great magic users. How about we take her then? Hey, if you have something to say about my parents, then let us hear it. Megumin shoved her face close to mine. Aqua quickly returned to the adventurer's card. Why not? You can't forge an adventurer's card, and the girl's definitely an arch wizard, an advanced class capable of powerful offensive magic. If she really can use explosion, that would be a big deal. That's supposed to be among the most difficult magic to master. Hey, Megumin said heartily. You don't have to call me this girl all the time. Use my name. I pass her a menu. Calm down and order something. I'm Kazuma. This is Aqua. Pleasure to meet you, Archwizard. Megumin looked at like she had about to say something and then silently took the menu. Almost there. I believe we get to darkness by the end of this chapter. Explosion is one of the most powerful magics, but it takes time to prepare in proportion to its equal power. I will need you to hold that toad at bay until I'm ready. Aqua now stated Megumin, the now stated Megumin, and I had come to get some revenge on the giant toads. We could see one of them far off across the field. It had noticed us and was coming closer, but we could also see other toads approaching from the opposite direction. Use your magic to target one of the furthest away. As for the closest ones, here we go. Aqua, time to get payback. You keep telling me you used to be, Why don't you show me what you can do? What do you mean, used to be? It's present tense. I'm a goddess. I'm an archpriest for now. Megumin gave her self-proclaimed goddess a strange look as Aqua strangled me with tears flying out from her eyes. A goddess? Is that why she calls herself? Poor kid. Sometimes it just lets you slip, Don't pay any attention. As I spoke, Megumin looked sympathetically at Aqua. A tearful Aqua made a fist and lunged desperately at the nearest frog. Whatever. I know giant toads are supposed to be resilient to physical attacks, but this time I'm going to show you what a goddess can do. Just watch, Kazuma. I didn't get my glory last time, but today... With that, Aqua, who seemed to have learned nothing from her previous foray in the frog's digestive system, ceased to move and stalled, the giant toad in her way. Only a true goddess would sacrifice herself to buy her allies some time. That was when the air around Megumin began to tremble. Even I, who didn't know the first thing about magic, could see that what Mega Man was cooking up was some serious stuff. Her voice grew louder, and she chanted an incantation, and a single bead of sweat rolled down her forehead. Behold, the most powerful magic known to mankind! This is truly the ultimate attack! The end of Mega Man's staff began to glow. The vast light condensed until it was tiny and piercing bright. Mega Man's red eye glowed as it opened wide. Explosion! A single beam of light flew across the field. It raced from the end of her staff and enveloped the frog that was coming in our direction. Then I saw the effect of the dire magic. The frog burst into tiny pieces, with a light bright enough to set your head spinning and roar through the shook air. I planted my feet and covered my eyes against the shockwave that threatened to send me flying. When the smoke cleared, 20 meters wide crater laid where the creature had been. Speaking to the awesomeness of the blast, incredible! So this is magic! At that moment, while I was admiring Mega Man's spell, the giant toad, perhaps awakened by the sound of the shockwave, crawled up from under the ground. I've been wondering how toads survived in the area without rain, fall, or major water since, well, I never thought they could do a living by underground, or do it by living underground. Toads were crawling out near Mega Man, but moving very slowly. It was hard to get her back far enough to prepare another explosion. Mega Man, let's fall back and then we can hit them like... That was as far as I got before I saw Mega Man and stopped in my tracks. She had collapsed. My magic is utterly powerful, but it takes strength equal to its power. I overexerted myself, and I will not be moving for a while. Oh, who could have known the toad would appear right before me? This is trouble. I shall be eaten. Please, no. I finished off to the two toads Mega Man and Aqua had immobilized. And so, that was actually the kill 5 toads. In 3 days, quest successful. It stinks. My clothes stink. A whimpering, slime-covered Aqua trudged beside me. The inside of the giant toad smells bad, but it's rather cozy and warm. And that too, the list of things I've never really wanted to know firsthand. An equally slime-covered Mega Man was pierced on my back, offering up facets I myself didn't really want to know. Turns out that when a spellcaster uses a spell, goes beyond their limits of their MP, she makes it up in the difference in her HP. Use a major spell when your mana is running low, and it could even put your life at risk. Save your explosions for emergencies from now on, Mega Man. I said, you should stick to smaller stuff from the time. I felt her hand resting on my shoulder and clench. I can't. Huh? You can't what? She gripped at my shoulder and harder, and I felt her small chest pressing against my back. I can't use anything but explosion. I'm completely incapable of casting any other spell. You're kidding. No, I'm not. Mega Man and I fell silent. Aqua, who had been quietly sniffling in the background the whole time, finally saw fit to enter the conversation. What do you mean? You can't use anything but explosion? If you've had enough skill points for that, you should have had enough to learn other spells too. Skill points? Oh yeah. The girl guild said something about points being connected to learning, and Aqua was my expression and saw my expression and explained. You get skill points when you choose a class. You use them to learn abilities. The better you are, the more points you start with, and you can allocate them to various skills. For example, I am a very exceptional, so I started by learning with all the party trick skills, and then all the magic appropriate to the archpriest. What are party trick skills for? Aqua ignored my question. The types of skills a person can learn are limited to their class and personality. She For example, someone who hates water would have to spend more points to learn ice or water related skills. Or in worst case scenario, it may not be able to learn them at all. Explosive magics are part of a category called multi-type magic because they rely on deep knowledge of both fire and air, among others. Someone who can learn a spell from the explosive magic should be able to have no problem learning other elemental magics. In other words, there's no reason you shouldn't be able to use advanced spell like explosion and not easier spells. I paused. So, when and where does one use party trick skills? From my back, Megaman whispered, I am an archwizard who adores explosion above all else. I do not care for all the explosive magics. Explosion is the only one. I was starting to wonder what made explosion different from all the explosive magics. I had no idea, but Aqua seemed to be taking Megaman's declaration of uniqueness quite seriously. Actually, you know what? The thing about the party trick skills bugged me more than the schematics of magically blowing stuff up. Of course, it might be easier for me to go on adventuring if I took other skills. Even the abilities of basic elements of fire, water, earth, and air would help me. But I cannot. I love only explosion. Even if, with my present MP, I can't cast it only but once a day, even if I collapse after casting it, it doesn't matter. I love only explosion. Indeed, I chose the path of Archwizard merely and solely so I could cast that one spell. Incredible, Aqua said. Just wonderful when I see you pursuing something so utterly impractical, yet so romantic. I moved to tears. Well, this is no good. Looks like the magic had decided to specialize being useless. The ultimate proof that Aqua sympathized with her. Our recent battles with the giant toads had left me doubting whether this goddess was going to be of any help to me at all. To be blunt, Aqua was a liability all by herself. To take another problem child? All right, I made up my mind. Wow, is that so? I said. Well, won't be an easy road, but stay strong. Stay strong. Oh, hey, there's the town. When we get to the guild, let's split the reward 3 ways. And then, who knows, maybe we'll meet again someday. As I spoke, Megaman's grip on my shoulder tightened. My one desire is to let off explosion. Any reward is merely a bonus. I do not need an equal share. Give me enough for a meal and a bath and some necessities, and I will ask nothing further. Yes, you can have me, an arch-wizard, for hardly more than the price of a meal. You could do anything other than that, than take me on long term. You can do anything other than take me on long term under such conditions. Huh. Oh, we couldn't. Such phenomenal power wouldn't be a waste of this on small fry parties like ours. Pearls before swine, you know. A regular caster would be plenty of a couple of novices like us. Look at me. I'm the lowest possible class. As I spoke, I tried to desperately loosen Megaman's grip on my shoulder so I could send her on her way as soon as we reached the guild hall. Megaman tried desperately to hold on. Not at all. I don't mind it the least if this is in a weak or inexperienced party. I may belong to an advanced class, but I'm a novice myself. I'm only level 6. I'm sure that with a few more levels, will stop casting every time, or stop collapsing every time I cast a spell, right? So, please, stop trying to pull my hand away. No. A spellcaster who can only cast 1 spell per day. That's hardly user-friendly. Oof. Who would have thought that a mage could have such a strong grip? Let go. You've probably been kicked out of other parties too, haven't you? Think about it. If we go into the dungeon, you won't be able to use your explosion in a confined space like that. You won't be able to help us at all. Hey, let go already. Don't worry. We'll give you the reward from the quest. Now let go. Please don't abandon me. No other party will take me. When we go into a dungeon, I can carry your bags for you. I'll do anything. I'm begging you. Please. Please don't leave me. Maybe it was the girl on my back shouting, "Please don't abandon me," at the top of her lungs that attracted the looks and whispers of the passers-by, but by now, we were already in town. Usually just Aqua was alone enough to gather a crowd, so we must have really stood out. Oh my goddess, that man is going to abandon that poor girl. What's all that? The woman next to him. Is that slime? He made a young girl his plaything, and now he's just going to throw her away. Disgusting. Look at those. Both those girls are slimy. What kind of sick games is this perv playing? It seemed the subject of the majority of misunderstanding. I hated the way Aqua smirked when she heard those comments, and then it turned out Megaman had picked up on them too. As I looked over my shoulder at her, her mouth twisted and then opened. I'll play whatever games you want. I'll even put up with all the slime play you showed me with those giant toads earlier. All right. Welcome aboard, Megaman. All right. I see you've killed 5 giant toads within 3 days, as requested. The completion of your quest is confirmed. Good work, everyone. I made our report to the receptionist at the Ventures Guild. Received the posted reward. Aqua and Megaman both stank of toad slime and might have caused more untoward misconceptions to boot, so I sent them off to the public bath. I had been a little concerned about proving that we killed all 5, since one of them had been vaporized by magical explosion, but it turned out my adventurer's card indicated how many monsters I'd killed and of what type. I presented the card to the receptionist along with Megaman, and the girl simply used the strange box on the counter to check them. It was true that magic rather than science had been the focus of the development in this world, but there was still some pretty amazing technology here. When I looked at my card again, it said Adventurers Level 4. I heard giant toads were easy way for beginning adventurers to raise level. I had taken out 4 of them all by myself, and it had been enough to get me to level 4. Then again, the lower your level, the quicker they went up. The stats on my card had risen a bit, but I didn't feel like I'd gotten especially stronger. Found myself muttering, "So you really do get better just by defeating monsters." Back when she first introduced us to adventuring, the girl at the counter told us that everything in this world had a soul. That whenever you eat something or kill something, whenever you put an end to the life of another living thing, you absorb some of that life's memories. I guess it was really like a video game. Excuse me. When I looked more closely at my card, I found the word skill points along with the number 3. I could use those points to gain more abilities. Now then, we're buying 2 giant toads from you along with the completed quest. That's 110,000 Aries. 110,000 minus the cost of transport for each frog was worth 5,000 yen. The reward of actually completing the quest was another 100,000. According to Aqua, most parties had 4 to 6 people when they attempted the quest, so think of an average party, adventurers, and their lives pitched in the battle each day or 2, and coming home with 5 frog carcasses. Along with the completion award, they would make 125,000 yen in a 5-person party. Each party member would come away with 25,000 yen. That's not worth it. You'll be talking about a rate of 25,000 yen a day. If the quest took only 1 day, it might sound like a pretty good deal to an average person. But remember, we're putting our lives on the line here. Even if one more toad had popped up that day, for example, I might have been eaten too, there would have been no one to help us. Party white. The hairs on the back of my neck stood up, just thinking about it. I took a look at the other quests on the board. Cut down Elgis trees, causing trouble in the woods. Reward volume. Please help me find my lost pet, White Wolf. Seeking swordsman tutor for my son. Note only rune knights or swordmasters need apply. Do you want to be part of a magical experiment? Note must have exceptional HP or strong magical defense. This world sure didn't make it easy for you. I had been on an adventure for only 2 days and I already wanted to return to Japan. Pardon me, may I have a moment? I was sitting in the chair nearby, nursing a bout of homesickness, when a soft voice came from behind me. I looked up with eyes deadened by the realities of the fantasy world. Sure, how can I help you? Then I saw the owner of the voice and was at loss for words. A female knight, dropped dead, gorgeous one at that. She was looking at me expressionlessly. She gave off almost a papical cool. She was just a little bit taller than I am. I'm 5'4", so she must be what, 5'6"? She wore a sturdy-looking metal armor, and golden hair framed her beauty. Her blue eyes. I guess she was a year or two older than me. Her armor just hid what type of body she had, but something about her was incredibly sexy. Despite her cool look, she gave off the impression of suffering somehow. Well, hang on, I can't go falling in love at first sight. Oh, yes, what can I do for you? I could deal with someone younger than me, like Megaman, or someone who has at least looked my age, like Aqua. But my voice cracked with nervousness as I talked to the obviously older woman. That's what I get for being a lifelong hikikomori. Tell me, was it your party that posted this for recruitment? Are you by any chance recruiting? The female knight held out a piece of paper. I'd forgotten to take it down. The recruitment notice since adding Megaman. Oh, that. Yes, we're still looking for members, but perfectly honest, I don't recommend it. Please. Oh, please let me be in your party. I've been trying to put her off gently, but the knight suddenly grabbed my hand. Huh? Whoa, hold on. I should warn you, we have a lot of problems. Neither of our members is even slightly capable. I'm the lowest class, in fact. Just a while ago, both my friends wound up covered in slime and... Ow! She squeezed my hand extra hard the moment I said, covered in slime. I knew those were your companions. I saw earlier all that gloop on them. How did they end up like that? Please let me get covered in... What? What did she say? Wait. Let me try that again. What I mean is, how could I, a knight, overlook the tender young women who are in such a state? How about it? I'm a crusader, an advanced class knight. I believe this fits your requirements. What's with this girl? She's giving me crazy eyes. She seemed so calm a moment ago. A red flag went up in my mind. This girl has something in common with Aqua and Megaman. I hated to turn down a looker, but I had no choice. Well, I'm sorry, but I said a moment ago I really can't recommend this party. One of our members has yet to be of any use to anybody, and the other can't use a single spell a day. And again, I'm the lowest possible class. We're one dysfunctional group, so I really recommend you look elsewhere. Her grip on my hand tightened further. That's even better. The truth is, it's hard to say out loud, but I'm confident with my defensive abilities. I am, but I'm a bit of a klutz. My attacks never hit, so good, old, reliable intuition. So I'm an advanced class, but it's not a big deal. I want you to send me right to the front. Use me as a shield. female knight brought her face within graceful features close to mine, and as I said, very, very close. Because I was seated, she stood above me. She had gotten so near that I could, so near that her long golden hair brushed my cheeks and set my heart pounding. Now I was really paying for that hikikomori life. No, no, I wasn't. This was just too much stimulation for any adolescent virgin, and this was throwing me off. Stay calm. Don't get taken in by her wilds. Now, now, how could we use a woman as a shield? We really are extremely weak party, ma'am. I think you would wound up mostly as a monster's punching bag in every single quest. That's what I'm looking for. No, it's not. Just today, my two companions were eaten by giant toads and ended up in slime. Seriously, that's likely to happen every single day. That's exactly what I'm looking for. Now I get it. The female knight gripping my hand and blushing as I looked at her. It finally dawned on me. It wasn't her abilities that wouldn't help us. It's like the rest of the party. She was useless to the core. So ends Chapter 1 of Konosuba. Again, this was a reading from the book. You can get it from Yen Press. You can get it on most retailers that sell books. And it is absolutely a delight. Check out the anime. Again, this is written by Natsumi Akatsuki, excuse me, Natsumi Akatsuki, which is, of course, a pen name. The real author is male, even though the pen name is female. And it is a delight to finally share sort of a story here. This is our longest sort of stream for story time. These are supposed to be shorter, but because this was a long chapter, we were going to do that. Next week we will return, and I had a request to do Demon Blade. So that is my own series. Somebody wanted me to do some of the chapters of that. Normally it's a comic form. I will do some readings of the scripts that I have. So we'll do some of that. If you have a request for a story, if you have your own story you want read on here, I will be happy to do it. Please just leave a comment. As always, like, comment, and subscribe. And I thank you for joining us on the stream. We will be back tomorrow with another gaming stream. So thank you for joining us tonight, and I hope you have all a good evening.